The morning felt ordinary. Sunlight spilled across the kitchen counter, cutting through the streamers I'd half-heartedly hung the night before. The cake stand sat empty, a cruel sort of minimalism disguised as humor. My family, eager for a picture, gathered around anyway. I held my smile like armor, blowing imaginary candles while they snapped photos. Laughter punctuated the air, light and careless, but it didn't reach me. The card, "At least you tried," lay open on the table. Words meant to be playful, but years of similar remarks had made them feel precise, surgical. Memories pressed in: last year's birthday, the unremarkable acknowledgement; the year before, the shrug over my achievements in school or work. They never meant harm, or so they said. But repeated tiny cuts accumulate. Humor at my expense, a subtle reminder that I was always secondary, always the one expected to laugh along. I sat quietly after the photo, holding the card, pretending to read it. I noticed the way my mother lingered near the counter, eyes flicking toward me, expecting some sort of response. My father chuckled, nudging my brother. Everyone waited for the performance, my acceptance, my joke in return. I finished the pretense, smiled, polished my nod. And then, I moved. The keys to my car rested on the counter. I picked them up deliberately. Checked the locks. Checked the driveway. I didn't explain. I didn't argue. I left. The door closed behind me softly, but the sound carried more weight than any words could. For the first week, the absence was invisible. I returned to my routines, my own space. The messages didn't come immediately. The house continued without me. It was strange, quiet. Then, 2 weeks later, my phone buzzed. A message from my brother. "Mom's been crying every night. Just come back." I stared at it. Not angry, not triumphant, simply aware. Awareness of what my absence had communicated, that my participation, my energy, my presence, was not merely assumed, but valued. Only now, after removing myself quietly, did they confront the emotional reality of taking me for granted. I didn't respond immediately. I considered all the birthdays, the small jabs, the microaggressions that had built a pattern over decades. I remembered laughter at my expense, thinly veiled as affection. I remembered always being the one to accommodate, to forgive, to participate on their terms. And then I realized the power of quiet boundaries. Leaving hadn't been about punishment. It had been about reclaiming my autonomy, showing that my emotional labor had limits. The keys in my pocket were not just a car, they were freedom. They were a statement. I sat with my phone, rereading the message. My mother's sadness, my brother's concern, the ripple effect, it was all real. But it was no longer mine to fix immediately. My choice was clear: I could return, yes, but I would do it on my terms, with my dignity intact, not to restore their comfort, but to negotiate my own place. I sent a short reply the next morning. "I'm fine. Let's talk when I feel ready." It was simple, controlled, final, in its own way. Not cruelty, not resentment. A boundary drawn clearly and quietly, like a line in sand that could not be erased by laughter, guilt, or expectation. For the first time in years, I felt the strange weightlessness of personal control. The house, the celebrations, the performances, none of it dictated my self-worth anymore. I had reclaimed my space, quietly, deliberately, without spectacle. And that, I realized, was enough.